boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Jordan 4s to look at. The Air Jordan 4 Retro SB. Now this is that navy colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. These videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. So this sneaker does come in this kind of sail off-white box. Now it is glossed out throughout the entire packaging. Smack dead in the middle, you do have the gray Jordan Jumpman logo here with the flight branding. If you do a 360 around the box, you will notice more of that Jordan branding with the Nike SB branding here, of course. The bottom portion of the box, not really too much going on. You do have some Nike and Jordan branding here, along with some copyright information for those that do care about that. There you go. Now the box label on the sneaker does read Air Jordan 4 Retro SP. The colorway says Summit White, white, and then navy. Now when you do open the box, and up underneath you do have like this hit of gray here. Now the sneaker did come wrapped in this white wax paper with the gray paint blotches, and we have seen that with other Air Jordan 4 sneakers, and it did come double wrapped. Up underneath you are met with this white tissue paper here. Up underneath that you are met with the actual sneaker itself. Pretty popular sneaker, definitely one of my favorites as far as like, you know, releases go for this year. I don't see like any stickers or anything on the inside of this one, so let me move that out of the way. But yeah, man, we have seen this color blocking on that pine green Air Jordan 4 sneaker. One thing that I do like about these SBs, they do kind of like, you know, switch up things a little bit different on the tongue, and then like they did go ahead and give us this hit of gray for the suede mudguard situation here. Excellent sneaker in my opinion. You know, blue on white, you know, this isn't one of those hard sneakers to like, you know, match with outfits or anything like that. As far as like build go, it does look like, you know, your standard Air Jordan 4 sneaker. So we're not going to take too long on this one. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And again, this is the Air Jordan 4 Retro SB. And again, this is the navy colorway. So let's take a look at the right sneaker like we always do. Now from first observation, the sneaker does look like what you would expect from like any other Air Jordan 4 sneaker. On the lateral side of the sneaker, you do have this hit of navy here for the lace crowns, and then you do have your triangular wing going towards the rear here in white. Smack dead in the middle, you do have this rib netting material here in white. Up underneath you are met with some of that white nylon mesh, and it does detach away from like the sneaker. The netting does, like, you know, as it should. There is like, you know, some white stitching along this side here as well. The sock liner of the sneaker, they did go ahead and give us this hit of white, and then like they did go ahead and give us this hit of gray here for the mud guard. Gray stitching here as well, and that is like, you know, some suede. You know, this is like suede here. They did give us the two-tone midsole like they normally do with Air Jordan 4s. So you do have the hit of navy here and then going towards the rear. Other than that, you do have like your hit of white going along the midsole. One thing that I like about this sneaker, they kind of gave us like, you know, this gum bottom situation going towards the front and the rear of the sneaker. And then if you look towards the back, you do have your cutout there for the air bubble. And if you can look closely, it does have like, you know, the hit of red, and you can see through to the other side like you can on any other Air Jordan 4. The entire upper portion of the sneaker is composed of like, you know, this white leather material, and that's pretty much it for this side. So switching gears, going to the front toe box area of the sneaker, you are met with more of that white leather, and the leather is pretty smooth. It's not like, you know, textured or anything like that. Of course, you do have your white stitching. Now for the mud guard on this sneaker, they did give us that hit of gray here for the suede, and then the upper toe box area of the sneaker is consistent with the netting over on this side. So you do have this white rib material here, and then of course you have the white nylon mesh showing up underneath. The sneaker itself, it did come pre-laced, and they did give us these flat white laces here going up about 3/4 of the way of the tongue. You do have more of that nylon mesh up under, and then of course you do have the rib material here, and then the upper portion of the tongue, they did go ahead and give us this hit of white leather, and they did go ahead and give us this white tag here, but if you look closely, it does have the Red Jordan Jumpman logo, and then it does have the Flight branding there in blue. Behind the tongue, they did go ahead and give us like this hit of navy, and it does kind of help the navy accents pop throughout the entire sneaker. And they did give us this white tag there, and it does have the Air Jordan text there with the hit of blue. Again, the sock liner is all white. Now, I'm not going to pull it out, but if you do look closely, the insole of the sneaker is all red, and they did give us that Nike SB branding there in white. Now, going towards the medial side of the sneaker, you do have, for the most part, your hit of the smooth white leather throughout the entire upper. You do have a white triangular wing over on this side as well, with the blue lace crowns here in the navy, and then you do have more of that gray suede showing over on this side. Other than that, it's just really like another two-tone midsole situation. So you do have the hit of navy and white, and then of course you have your cutout for the air bubble on this side as well. Now, going towards the rear, they did give us this navy blue pull tab here, and they did go ahead and give us this Nike Air branding here, well, Nike SB there in white. And of course you do have, like, you know, some more white leather showing on the back with some white stitching. Other than that, you do have your hit of navy and white for the midsole, and then you can see that gum bottom showing on, you know, going towards the back as well. The bottom portion of the sneaker, not too much going on. It is your standard Air Jordan 4 bottom. For the most part, you do have herringbone traction throughout the entire bottom here. Again, you do have your gum hits up top, and then going toward the heel, smack dead in the middle, you do have this hit of white. But if you look closely, you do have that red Nike branding there with the swoosh there in the red. And that's pretty much it for the right sneaker. The left sneaker, pretty consistent with the right sneaker. They didn't switch up like any branding or anything on this one. Everything on this sneaker is pretty much the same as the other side. And that's pretty much it on this one. If I were to rate this sneaker, let me go ahead and give this one a solid 9 out of 10. The only thing that's stopping it from being, like, you know, a solid 10 is, okay, so let's talk about the sock liner a bit. The sock liner, it is all white. I do understand what they were trying to go for as far as, like, you know, appeal, as far as, like, you know, how it looks. But I think I would have favored the, sock liner to be kind of like the same navy as the back of the tongue here, only because, like, you know, over time when you wear the sneaker, that white will start to dirty on you, and I feel like after a while, like, it starts to make the sneaker kind of look kind of crazy. So I feel like, you know, to kind of give us more wears out of this sneaker, they should have gave us, like, you know, like a different option here. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but other than that, it would be a 10. So to be fair, I do have to give this one a 9. As far as, like, comfort and sizing, the sneaker does fit like what you would expect from, like, any other Air Jordan 4 sneaker. Now, for me, that is true to size. I don't foresee a reason for you guys to want to go up or down a half size on this one at all. Just stick true to size. And then, of course, like, you know, I do have to mention with the Air Jordan 4, because of, like, the craftsmanship on the sneaker, there is, like, a slope that kind of goes from, like, you know, here going towards, like, the toe box area, which does cause, like, you know, some discomfort around, like, the pinky toe. But again, I wouldn't go up or down a half size or anything to kind of alleviate that. It's just something that does kind of get better the more you wear and break in the sneaker. So yeah, man, just stick true to size. And that's pretty much it on this one, but I definitely want to take the time to shout out the vendor who actually gifted this sneaker to review on the channel for you guys. And I do encourage you to stay engaged like always. I can be reached on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm gonna hit you guys with a 360 and the B-roll like I always do. But again, there you go. The Air Jordan 4 Retro SB. And again, this is that navy colorway. So there's the front of the sneaker. Lateral side of the right. Lateral side of the left. There's your bottom, and again, standard Air Jordan 4 traction. There's the medial side. And then there's the rear. But again, I do thank you guys for taking the time to tune in like always. But until next time, see you later.